So everyone should know that organ sits around here, right? Back here. Now, in the abdominal cavity or organ that usually, by the way, what membrane that it usually finds in the abdominal cavity? What is that serous membrane is known as?
Peritoneum?
It's peritoneum, right? Now, if the stomach it finds it inside, it's surrounded by the peritoneum membrane. However, the kidney is not in the peritoneum. It's behind the peritoneum. What's another word for behind?
Retro.
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 Okay, so it's in retroperitoneal cavity, if you will. So here's your kidney. Technically, your right kidney is lower than your left. If you look at the torso over there, why is the right kidney lower than the left? Danielle? Artie? I don't know. The right kidney is lower than the left. In this case, is because the presence of the lever. Okay, 2/3 of the lever is on the right hand side. You push it down, so it's lower than the left. The kidney is actually in a retroperitoneal, so it's easy accessible. So if you go to a bar and some lady offer you a drink and you wake up the next day in a bathtub, find out you have a suture, done, it's probably because she have drugged you and removed your kidney and sold it on the black market.
On Amazon.
It's easy accessible. Actually, you can just make a slit over here and then just go into laparoscopically, take it out. And you can live with one kidney, that's fine. So beware, Gerard. It's not worth it to have that shot of Johnny Walker. Okay, it's surrounded by a fascious membrane, which is basically fat, to provide its cushion. But the layers of the kidney that you often see here, that's your renal capsule. Okay, here's your renal capsule. That's your renal capsule. See that? That's your renal capsule. By the way, this is your adrenal gland. That's your adrenal medulla. That's your adrenal cortex. Okay. Now the kidney is also divided into two layers. See how from here, to think of this up here is the cortex, renal cortex, and then all this regions here is the renal medulla. Okay. And how the kidney medulla look like they might divide it into different lobes. Here's one lobe, here's another lobe, here's another lobe, here's another lobe. And what divides it into different lobes is this. Right? This is known as renal column, just like the Roman Colosseum, right? With the column right here. And the lobe, in fact, it looks like this, like the space capsule. This is known as the renal pyramid. The renal pyramid. In the cortex, you see these dots? These dots are known as renal corpuscle, which is this. The renal corpuscle would have the glomerulus, which defined as the ball capillary, and surrounding the ball capillary is this, known as the Bowman's capsule. The Bowman's capsule will have two layers. The inner layer is known as the visceral layer, and the outer layer is known as the parietal layer. This visceral layer is made up of cells that look like a foot, hence the name, the podiocytes. So it's a podiocytes that forms the visceral layer. Okay? Very important to know when I ask you, what is the functional unit of the kidney? And the answer would be a functional unit of the kidney,
right? Okay.
is a nephron. Just like a functional unit of skeletal muscle is a sarcomere, a functional unit of the liver may be liver lobule, functional units of bone is known as the osteon, functional units of the kidney is known as the nephron. The nephron would include this, known as the Bowman's capsule. And this right here, known as the proximal convoluted tubule, your Lutzer Henle, and then your distal convoluted tubule. Right? This is the collecting duct. The collecting duct is not part of the nephron. Nephron's here and it's in here. What the Bowman's capsule surrounding this is known as the glomerulus. Okay? That is the vasculature, that's blood. Okay? That is not part of the nephron. So here is typically a nephron. You can say it's starting with this green thing is the Bowman's capsule. Underneath the Bowman's capsule is the glomerulus. Okay? Together, they're known as the renal corpuscle. So here you can say, okay, here's the glomerulus, here's the Bowman's capsule, and this is the beginning. Next to the Bowman's capsule, or proximal convoluted tubule. Okay? So the way that you look at that is this way. Thank you. Here's the glomerulus. See the purple thing? That's the Bowman's capsule. See this light green? That's your proximal convoluted tubule. And then here is your Lutzer Henle. And then your distal convoluted tubule. And then here is your collecting duct, the white one. Okay? We're going to see that the nephron has three major functions. One is filtration, two is reabsorption, and three is secretion. I'm going to tell you that a little bit. But after you filter, you have filtrate, which is finds inside this Bowman's capsule, and it flows down into the proximal, into the Lutzer Henle, and in the distal. Once the filtrate have reached the collecting duct, it can be known as urine. Okay? So make sure you know that. So urine flowed in the collecting duct all the way down to here, okay, which is considered as this. So all of these is collecting duct, okay, and it comes down to this little nipple. This is known as the renal papillae. That's your nipple right there. That's your nipple there. That's your renal papillae, okay? And the renal papilla then will drip, 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 drip the urine into this right here, which collects it. It's known as the minor calyx. That's the minor calyx. Minor calyx and minor calyx become major calyx. Major calyx will go out into the renal pelvis. Renal pelvis will comes down to ureter. Ureter is into the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder out into the urethra. Okay? All right, why don't you guys study that?